All right, how many of us have ever been pulled over by a police officer? Is it a fun experience?
Nay.
No. Okay, so today I'm here to inform you on the main reasons why people get pulled over, what to do when you get pulled over, and how to prevent against it. Okay? So hopefully this will help you maybe walk away with a warning instead of a ticket. So I'm going to read a few quotes from a former Virginia state trooper in a little bit. So you know he's an expert source right there. So first of all, why might someone be more likely to be pulled over by an officer? First of all, the number one reason, speeding. If we're late to something, we have to speed, right? We must speed. I don't know why. It just must happen. So try not to be late. Just be an early bird to your appointment, okay? If you drive an old beat up car, make sure that there isn't anything hazardous that could fall off your car and hit some other driver's car. That would not be cool. Nobody likes that. Aggressive driving. Do not be someone who cuts other people off. That is one big pet peeve of a lot of officers and a lot of other drivers. I know myself, if someone cuts me off, I am not very happy. I'm probably yelling at you in my car. Okay? Also, cell phones and driving. I talk on my cell phone and drive. I will admit it. Just be careful when you're doing this because, when we tend to talk on our cell phones, we tend to swerve and, we don't know what we're doing. So just be careful about that. Registration problems. Plates, the little tags on your car, those, when they're expired, that means you have to update them. If you don't update them, you will get a ticket. So just remember that. And last of all, seatbelts. In the state of Idaho, it is required to wear a seatbelt. I don't care how uncomfortable it is, you have to wear one. And it might save your life, so that's one big thing there. So now we're going to talk about what happens when you're pulled over. State Trooper Tom says, I don't demand respect, but I don't like disrespect either. So the number one thing is be respectful at all times, okay? I don't care how mad you are at the officer for pulling you over because, you're just going with the flow of traffic. Just give him the respect that he deserves. So the number one step, pull over to a safe spot on the road. Do not pull over anywhere that the officer is going to be afraid to get out of his car because he's going to get hit. I've seen many a movie, like World's Wildest Police videos, an officer gets out of his car and smack, gets hit by a mirror or something like that. Pull over to a safe spot. And if you have to get out of the car, you're not going to want to get out either if traffic's flying by you. Pull over right away. Don't be one of those oblivious people that drives 5 miles without seeing the officer's lights behind you, okay? That will not make them very happy at all. You will be most likely given a ticket and probably a ticket for reckless endangerment for not paying attention. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, keep your engine running. If you have an old, unreliable car that might break down, this is a big one because the officer does not want to have to wait for you to get your car started. Officer Tom says, I generally don't like the citizen to turn off his engine because if it's an older car, it might not start again. Then you're in a situation where you have to wait for the guy to call a buddy or call a wrecker, and he's mad because you stopped him. I just as soon not have to negotiate with all of this mess. Okay, so Officer Tom says, leave your car running until the officer tells you to shut it off. Number 4, keep your hands on the wheel. I know that we're all really nervous when we get pulled over. We're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What do I do with my hands? It's like we're on a first date or something. Do I put my arm over here? What do I want to do? You're like checking your hair and stuff in the mirror. No, keep your hands on the steering wheel. The officer does not want you reaching for anything, okay? Because even if you're just reaching for your license or something, they could see it as a potential hazard and they just want to go home at night, okay? So just keep your hands on the steering wheel until they ask you to move them. Then you can ask permission to get your registration or something like that. Stay in the car. I don't care how mad you are, do not get out of your car yelling at the officer. You will get tased. That is the number one, that's the number one thing. You will get tased probably. It does not feel good, I'm sure. And lastly, watch what you say. If you're sitting there cussing at the officer because he pulled you over because you were breaking the law, do not sit there cussing at him, yelling at him. You will get a ticket and you will get arrested for disorderly conduct. Okay? So do not cuss at the officer. Now we're going to talk about how to prevent against being targeted. Like I said before, drive the speed limit. If you're going to be late, don't be late. Be early to your appointments. Because being late causes you to speed for some reason. And also, I know I'm a big guy. I have a big foot. It's hard for me to keep it up too. Just got to work that muscle. Just got to work it, okay? Just be careful about that. Like I said before too, drive a decent car. If you're driving an old beat up car where something's gonna fly off at any minute, and it's gonna hit another car, you know, just don't let that happen. Make sure everything's secured. If you have a broken mirror hanging off, get some duct tape. I have an aunt who's had duct tape on her mirror for like 5 years now. Okay, so just be careful about that. Relax. Be a defensive driver. Don't be aggressive at all. If you're aggressive, then nobody's going to be happy with you. And they're going to write down your license plate, and then you're going to see you on the highway, and you know it's going to be demolition derby or something. So just be careful about that. Leave on time. Don't be stressing to get to your appointments. Like I said, keep your registration up to date. That's always fun. I know the DMV is a really long wait and all, but take something to do. Read a book, you know, do some knitting, whatever. On the holidays, most officers do not like to work holidays because guess what? They have families too. They're people. They're not like RoboCop, you know. They do have families. So if they're missing their families and they're out on the road, they don't want to be there, and they're probably more likely to give you a ticket if you're going to be disrespectful. Look back in your mirror every so often. Make sure nobody's following you. Make sure the lights aren't on or anything. Like I said, don't be oblivious, okay? Seatbelts. Like I said, wear your seatbelt at all times. Could save your life, could save you a ticket, okay? So I hope I've informed you reasons why people get pulled over, what to do when you get pulled over, and how to prevent against it. And just remember, treat the officers with respect at all times because, like I said, they are people. And hopefully, if I'm an officer in the future, I won't have to deal with any of you. But if I do, I want the respect that I deserve, and I will give you the respect you deserve, okay? So just remember that. And I'm done.